these grand dreams and vision of everything they're going to be able to do once they get going and the money is flowing in. However, occasionally, okay, maybe a lot, we run into a situation where the money may not be flowing the way we had envisioned, and maybe we're having a hard time bringing money home, or even we're scared that something might happen, and what happens if we get it cut off. And so today we are joined by Shawn Yesner to talk to us about how to bring home more money from your business. Greetings and welcome, Shawn.
Thank you for having me, Tiffany. I enjoy it being here.
Yes, we're super excited to have you back here again to chat with our audiences on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. We were having a conversation recently, and Shawn will be joining us for the summit. I'll tell you more about that later. And I was like, ooh, what if we also talked about business? Because I know business owners have so many concerns. And Shawn was like, yeah, I'm like, let's do a live. So here we are, y'all. Glad to have you joining us. Shawn is an attorney who not only does real estate law, but also bankruptcy law. And so that's kind of the specialty he is coming to us today, talking about business bankruptcies, but not necessarily business bankruptcies, but business and getting the money. So how do we deal with that debt? So he actually has two books. The first one, Crushing Debt, that came out a couple of years ago. And he also has Become Debt Free. And as a special little thank you, if you're watching and you want some tips on how to become debt free, is it like 21 tips?
It's a lot. It is
Okay.
20, yeah.
Okay, so 20 plus tips on how to become debt free. So that link is there on the screen, ShawnMYesner.com/become debt free. So check that out. But in the meantime, so in addition to being an author, in addition to being an attorney, being a dad of two boys, he's part of a crew, which is the thing here in Tampa. He is the president of his homeowners association, which is no small feat, because are there like 3,000 plus homes in the community?
Yeah, about 3,500 homes. And you're making me tired by listening to all this stuff that I do.
And you forgot about the podcast and
Right,
the soccer coach for your son. So we're going to hear
right.
from him some ideas and tips. If you're watching this live, we would love for your comments and your questions. You can do that on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and on Facebook. Though on Facebook, if you have not yet, you can go to this link here, chat.restream.io/FB, or just leave your name in the comments. We would love to give you a shout out and answer your questions. So Shawn, that's a lot going on. And that's probably how some business owners feel sometimes. There's just so much, especially when it comes to money. So
Yeah.
you want to give us some thoughts on how to bring home more money from your business?
Yeah. So, a lot of the stuff that I do is based on individuals getting out of debt. But what I realized is a lot of the same concepts apply. The Crushing Debt book focuses a lot on individuals, but there are some things in there that business owners can take and use and incorporate into their business. The Become Debt Free book, it's actually called Become Debt Free in Less Than an Hour. And the concept there is not that you're going to read the book and an hour later you're going to be debt free, but more so the stuff in the book can all be implemented in less than 1 hour's time. And one of the things that occurred to me, for example, when I first started my law firm, I don't want to use the word suckered, especially since I'm an attorney, but I feel like I kind of got suckered into a decision to buy all the books and the statute books and the treatises and all the research things that I needed to run the law firm. Well, the problem is the Florida statutes are available online for free. I don't have books behind me. I got a computer and hopefully files that are blurred out so you can't see the names of any of the clients. I don't need the books. All the materials available online. But what that did was it created a monthly subscription model that I had to pay every month to have access to resource materials that I didn't need. So a lot of times what I'll ask business owners is, what subscriptions do you have? What do you absolutely need to run your business? I just paid a lot of money to Dropbox. I just paid a lot of money to my bankruptcy software provider. But there are some subscriptions that I was able to cancel, and some of these legal course material books and whatnot were hundreds of dollars a month. I'm not canceling a $45 annual subscription. I'm canceling a $500 monthly subscription, and that adds a lot. Just canceling that adds a lot to the bottom line, and it gets rid of that as I'm going through my monthly bills at the end of the month. Is, oh my God, where did the money go? How I'm paying all these other people. I started this business for me. Why am I paying all these other people? So that's I think the biggest tip, the most obvious tip for a business owner, and how they can free up some cash flow.
Yeah, I love that idea of kind of doing an audit of what subscriptions am I a part of. I was talking to a coaching client just a couple of hours ago, and she was like, yeah, I got auto renewed for this, whatever it was, for like the 4th year, and I haven't used it. And it's like, oh my. And if it's 10 or 20 bucks a year, it's probably not as painful as $1,000 a year that hits. And if you're using it, like I'm notorious for signing up for things on my smartphone. I'm like, ooh, let me try this app, and it's, a month for this. My hack is I go ahead and cancel it as soon as I sign up for it, because it'll give you the month subscription. And then when it's like, oh, your subscription ran out, I'm like, okay, let me evaluate. Do I really want to do this and spend the money on it? And sometimes the answer is yes. Sometimes there's free 30-day trials. The answer is yes. But most of the time it's like, oh, I didn't really use it. Thankfully, because they never want to give you the money back once the renewal comes through, do they?
No, they won't. But similar concept. I just got a request to renew, and you know how much I like to network. I learned it all from you. But there's a group that I was a part of that really wasn't giving me the return that I wanted. Now, I readily admit part of it was my fault for being so busy with other groups that I just couldn't contribute to this one group the way that I thought would be most appropriate to honor the group. But when they asked for the renewal, I had to respectfully decline because I'm not using that particular group. Now, I have the option any year at any point to go back. I'm an alumni. It was a particular 1-year program. I'm an alumni, so I can go back and sign up as an alumni at any time. But at least for now, when I'm focusing on all the other things that I've got going on for the law firm from a subscription model base, I don't have to renew there. But one of the other tricks that I do, I'm very big into reviewing the financial statements. And so I would definitely say you want to review, not necessarily to budget. I know budget is as bad a word that begins with a B as bankruptcy. But look at your profit and loss statement. Where's your money going? Where's it coming from? And I do track a lot of that stuff so that I know this group is generating more. This particular referral source is generating more. Let me give them some love to get more. Let me stop with this group or this referral source. Let me do this or let me do that. But in reviewing the profit and loss statement, I can see where the money's going. Or like one other trick that I do, one other hack that I do at the beginning of the month, I put into QuickBooks all the recurring expenses that I know are going to come out. And then that way, QuickBooks shows me that money isn't there. Now, when I go to the bank, the money's there. But QuickBooks, the money's not there. So I know exactly how much I can pull as either salary or a distribution, ownership distribution or whatever. I know exactly how much I can pull, because not only can I track the referrals and how they're coming in and when they're coming in and the frequency with which they're coming in and the average value of a referral that comes in, but now I also know what expenses have come out, and and the rest is mine. A little bit, I know that Mike Michalowicz, I think you said, is going to be at the summit, and sort of, it's not necessarily profit first, but it sort of is profit first in terms of what do I know is going to be there in terms of profit that I can take, and then the rest of it is for the bills of the law firm. But it allows me to either bring home money without the stress of, oh my gosh, am I going to have to put it back to cover the bills? And doing that, reviewing the budget, scheduling things in advance, all allows me to be less stressed when I'm trying to figure out how much am I going to be able to bring home in any given month.
Yeah, and I think if we're less stressed, it gives us an opportunity to focus on the money-making activities versus focused on, oh my gosh, how am I going to do payroll? How am I going to pay my vendors? How am I going to, what's going to happen? I've been looking at Kiva, which I think is somewhere, it's different people, small micro loans that are looking for. And some of it's just, I need to buy supplies for my store. And it's like, wow. Yeah. It's hard when you have empty shelves. And it's not that, I mean, I know right now the supply chain's a little hard, even here still in the United States and getting stuff. We're finally over, like we didn't get Ian where Shawn and I are, but right. Walmart, because I do Walmart delivery for my groceries sometimes, and it's 2 or 3 days out, and usually it's like same day delivery. It's still a little crazy, a little backed up. And sometimes people are like, isn't that more expensive, Tiffanie? I'm like, no, because I don't impulse buy. Yeah, it's better for my waistline too, because I don't put the junk food in the shopping cart the way I would if I was in person, like the impulse buys.
Well, and I always kind of a little off topic, but my wife says to me, well, why can't we have somebody, why do we have to have somebody mow the lawn? Why can't you mow the lawn? Well, I'm at work from 8, 9 in the morning until 6, 7 o'clock at night, unless I've got soccer practice or whatever. I'm at work. And so if you want me to mow the lawn, that's fine, but I got to do that on Saturday. I'd rather pay the $100 a month to have someone mow my lawn on Saturday. And then I can go on the overnight camping trip with my family instead of worrying about that I have to mow the lawn. So, I mean, I understand that a lot of those types of services, and in business as well. Yeah. Do I want to, I don't typically schedule myself on my calendar. And it's not because I'm the high and mighty attorney that doesn't feel like, it's that I can have my assistant who I pay, whatever an hour, schedule. And while she's doing that, I can actually pump out a client project that makes the law firm money. So
yeah. I think too many entrepreneurs feel like I can do it myself, or let me save money by doing it that way. And, I love the example of the lawnmower, and you're nicer than I, because I would have been like, honey, if you want the grass cut and don't want to pay for it, that sounds like a good job for you. That would have been probably my response. But sometimes it's like, what can we do as entrepreneurs that's more what we love to do? I know so many people that talk about, I spend 1 day a month doing bookkeeping. And I'm like, you could pay a bookkeeper probably an hour or 2 for the month, and they would get it done. And that would be a day of profit for you, or a day of sleeping, or the overnight trips, or whatever it might be.
Yeah, well, and again, while the CPA is monitoring the books, and or accountant or bookkeeper or whatever is monitoring the books, it's not like you're sitting back goofing off. You're doing work, generating revenue, completing client projects. So it's not like you're saying, here, I'm going to waste the money for you to do this. I think you said Dr. Ivan Meisner is also going to be a guest at the summit. And one of the concepts that I really learned from him was work in your flame, not your wax.
Yes, the wax is sticky and sucks you down. The flame lights you up.
Right. So do what you love to do. The other stuff you can delegate away, because it's not going to, it takes me. Now, I love doing it because I have a bookkeeping, I have an accounting degree as my undergrad. So I enjoy doing it, but it still takes me about a half a day to do all the monthly bills and reconcile all the accounts and do all that stuff. I probably need to hire a CPA or a bookkeeper or an accountant. And while they're doing all my books, I can then continue to bill clients and do all that other stuff.
Awesome. So we've gotten some great stuff. I'm going to ask you for one more tip or anything else you want to share in just a second, Shawn. Before we do that, though, I do want to share again. So if you want to get a copy free of Become Debt Free in less than an hour, not that you can get all your debt gone in an hour, but it's, pretty quick ways to lose the debt. Please go to the website that is there on the link. And I mentioned earlier, we do have the More Money, Time, and Fun Summit. That is our virtual summit happening December 9th, 2022. And in addition to the Dr. Ivan Meisner and Mike Michalowicz, who Shawn mentioned, Shawn will also be one of our presenters during that event. Right now, tickets are still only $9. That will be going up next week. But you can go to bit.ly/SY, like Shawn Yesner, Summit 22. Shawn, what are you going to be talking about? Have we talked about that? Do you know what you're talking about in December yet?
I think we're talking about a little bit of what I was talking about today, but probably more from the personal perspective. In other words, I'll be giving some of the tips from the book and some others that I've learned subsequent to the book on how to get rid of that debt and become debt free.
Awesome. So I do highly encourage you, if you have not yet, grab your ticket now. The website is there on the screen. And I want to ask you, Shawn, what is one more thing that you think the audience just has to know in order to help them, bring home more money from your business?
Yeah, I think from a business perspective, reach out and talk. If you've got vendors that you're having trouble paying, reach out and talk to them. Tell them what's going on, because remember, the vendors are running a business as well. And a lot of times within a business, they would rather get something rather than trying to chase you for something. So I think businesses are a little bit more amenable to working out deals where if I'm an individual dealing with Chase, they're not as likely to do it. But if I'm a business owner dealing with one of my vendors, they may be more likely to do it. So everything is negotiable, and you're not saying I'm not going to pay you. You're just saying, can I pay you in these installments or in this way? And that's another way to sort of free up the cash flow, pay down more of the debt, and get your business to be debt free, which then will lead to you becoming debt free.
And that to me seems like the goal. How can we be debt free? So if you want more information, again, do go get the free download. John has a lot of other resources there on that page, on his website. Huh? Yeah, the joys of live. I can't talk anyway. Somebody was like, so when you do videos, do you edit out all your mistakes? I'm like, no, because then when they see me in person, they see I can't talk normally. I got to leave that in so that they know I won't be perfect ever.
I'll shave for the summit, I promise.
So let's see what all Shawn shaves for the summit. We look forward to hearing your tips at the summit, and be sure to grab your buck so that you can get debt free. And look, if you're debt free, brilliant, kudos, wonderful. There's probably somebody else in your life that's not, so maybe you can share the information. Thank you, Shawn, so very much for being here today with us. We so appreciate your sharing your expertise, and I look forward to seeing y'all soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Tiffanie.
Happy networking, y'all.